A disfiguring accident sends a young designer to an experimental clinic for a miracle cure. But the treatment leaves her with a craving for human flesh. We open on the outskirts of the city. Introducing Rose, a bespectacled assistant designer at a fashion company. One morning on her way to work, a tied-up dog suddenly lunges and barks at her, startling her enough to cause a minor motorcycle spill that leaves her late for the office. That small delay turns into a much bigger problem the moment she arrives, since her boss Gunther humiliates her in front of the other models, mocking her designs and her looks in the same breath while the room laughs along. One model named Chelsea, Rose's closest friend, is the only one who doesn't join in, quietly sympathetic to what her friend is going through. At lunch, we learn Rose sticks to a strict vegetarian diet to maintain the look the industry demands of her. A coworker named Brad casually invites her to the company party that night, and once evening arrives, Rose finds herself genuinely enjoying his company, laughing, talking, and eventually sharing a kiss. While Brad steps away to grab drinks, Rose overhears two coworkers gossiping in the restroom, revealing that Brad only asked her out because Chelsea pushed him to, feeling sorry for her after that morning's humiliation.
Chelsea told me she asked Brad to ask her out. Brad's gonna give her a pity fuck? Oh my god, totally.
Confronting Chelsea directly, Rose gets the truth confirmed, and the realization that none of Brad's attention was genuine crushes her.
Did you ask Brad to bring me here? I don't need any more charity from you, okay?
She storms out and rides off furious, distracted enough that she loses control of the bike and crashes hard, with Chelsea watching helplessly from a distance and immediately consumed by guilt. The accident leaves Rose in the hospital for a full week, wrapped almost entirely in bandages, with Chelsea and her family staying by her side the whole time. Since Rose has no family of her own to lean on, when the bandages finally come off, the damage is severe. The left side of her face is crushed badly enough to expose her teeth, along with a serious tear wound across her stomach. The doctor reassures her that survival is what matters most, that she'll still be able to live a completely normal life, and eventually clears her to continue recovering at home. Back at Chelsea's, guilt keeps her caring for Rose around the clock, and she breaks the news that the company has already replaced Rose's position, unable to hold it any longer. Alone in front of a mirror, Rose finally sees the full extent of the damage to her face, and the despair pushes her to start searching for any possible way to reverse it. That search eventually leads her to an email from a clinic called Burroughs, advertising an experimental transhumanist treatment, claiming it can fully restore her appearance. Rose and Chelsea head straight to the clinic, where she's examined by the facility's lead physician, Dr. William Burroughs, who founded the institute specifically to help people in situations like hers. After reviewing her case, he confirms she's an ideal candidate, but is upfront that the procedure has never actually been successfully performed before, meaning Rose would be both the first patient and effectively a research subject at the same time. Despite how alarming that sounds, Rose agrees anyway, hesitating only over the cost, which Burroughs quickly waves away, promising the entire treatment will be free of charge if the experiment succeeds, since it directly benefits his ongoing research. Relieved and out of options, Rose commits to the surgery without further hesitation. On the day of the operation, Burroughs and his surgical team prepare in an unsettling all-red wardrobe instead of standard medical whites, giving the whole scene an eerie, almost ritualistic feel rather than a clinical one. During the procedure, Burroughs implants something unusual into the damaged side of Rose's cheek, a small device that appears to subtly move on its own. Even so, the surgery concludes without visible complications. While Rose is still recovering from anesthesia, Brad shows up with flowers to check on her, and Burroughs quietly pulls him aside for a private conversation, the content of which stays hidden from both Rose and the audience for the time being. Once Rose wakes and removes her bandages, she's overjoyed to find her face completely restored, with no visible trace of surgery at all. Despite a faint, strange sensation beneath the skin, she chooses not to dwell on it, simply relieved to look normal again. Not long after, she meets a man named John by the clinic's pool and abruptly kisses him, only to suddenly bite down hard enough to draw blood. Confused and shaken by her own behavior, she reports the incident to Burroughs, who calmly dismisses it as a post-surgical hallucination brought on by medication. She also notices her appetite has spiked dramatically, and Burroughs sends her home with regular medication medication, along with a red supplement she's told to take consistently. Chelsea is thrilled to see Rose's face back to normal, and the two celebrate with a night out at a club, where Rose unexpectedly runs into Gunter, visibly stunned and impressed by her transformed appearance and the outfit she's wearing. One of her own designs interested in working with her again, he offers her a spot back at the company on the spot that night. Feeling more confident than ever, Rose gets close with another man named Tom, only for the same disturbing urge to resurface. Biting and seriously injuring him mid-encounter the next morning, she brushes it off again as just another hallucination and resumes taking her prescribed medication as instructed. Meanwhile, at a film shoot, John, the man Rose bit earlier at the pool, suddenly snaps during filming and violently attacks a co-star, biting him savagely, hinting that whatever's spreading originated from Rose's bite back at her apartment. Rose is overtaken by an intense hunger that the supplements fail to satisfy, no matter how much she takes. Desperate, she raids the fridge and eats raw meat straight from the packaging, a shocking departure from her usual vegetarian habits. But the hunger only grows worse. Stepping outside for air, she spots a man sitting in his car, approaches him, and without warning, bites into his neck to drink his blood directly. The next morning, she wakes up with blood still around her mouth. Finally forced to confront the horrifying truth, none of this has been a hallucination at all. Panicked, Rose rushes back to the clinic to demand answers from Burroughs, but he continues to insist, despite her insistence otherwise,
It's making me feel like I'm becoming a monster.
that everything she's experiencing is simply a side effect of the surgery. Meanwhile, John's condition at the clinic has deteriorated dramatically, and anyone he bites soon begins showing identical symptoms, suggesting a rabies-like infection is spreading rapidly through bite wounds. Despite the growing chaos, Rose returns to work and impresses Gunter with a striking new design dominated by red tones.
I want you to build and design this one.
During a lunch outing with Brad, she barely resists the urge to bite him, biting her own tongue instead and rushes to the restroom, horrified to discover small fangs have begun forming in her mouth. Just as she asks Brad to head back to the office, the man she bit in the car crashes through a nearby window and attacks her directly at the hospital. The outbreak accelerates as more patients start showing John's exact symptoms, and doctors scramble to identify the cause, suspecting something rabies-like that spreads through bites.
You think it's an infected human?
No, I don't think it's human.
Elsewhere, Rose collapses from the unbearable hunger, and when a stranger tries to help her, she attacks him too. That night, she has a vivid nightmare of being dressed in red robes by strange nurses, mirroring Burroughs' surgical team, and wakes just as the hunger returns. Again, reaching for her supplement bottle, she accidentally spills it, only to realize in horror that the medication is actually thick human blood. Shaken, but trying to hold herself together, Rose returns to work the next day and finishes a striking red dress design that catches Gunter's eye immediately, earning a spot as the closing piece in that night's fashion show. As preparations for the event get underway, Rose searches for Chelsea, the model set to wear her design, only to get an urgent call from Burroughs asking her to come to the clinic right away, which she can't do given the timing. Chelsea eventually arrives late, explaining the streets outside are in chaos from the spreading outbreak.
And she fucking bit me, and then she was shot by the police.
Unaware she's already been bitten and infected herself. Outside the venue, Rose's hunger overwhelms her completely, and she collapses in the street as bystanders start filming her on their phones. A bizarre, tentacle-like appendage suddenly erupts from her body and kills both men instantly. Brad finds her afterward and urges her to see Burroughs immediately, but Rose refuses, determined not to miss her big moment at the show. Once the event begins and her dress finally hits the runway, Chelsea loses control mid-walk and starts attacking the crowd, plunging the show into panic before police are forced to shoot her dead on the spot. The next day, Brad brings a devastated Rose back to Burroughs, who finally admits the truth. Everything she's experienced has been real all along.
It's not a dream. It's my mommy.
Blood, these hallucinations are very persistent.
He leads them into a sealed observation room, revealing that he'd secretly enlisted Brad from the very beginning to monitor Rose's condition after the surgery, meaning their earlier private conversation was about exactly this possibility. Furious at the betrayal, Rose barely has time to process it before Burroughs pours blood into the chamber to summon something hidden in the shadows, a monstrous creature that turns out to be his own late wife, his very first experimental subject, originally treated for cancer but transformed into this instead. As the creature lunges at Brad with its own tentacle appendage, Rose reacts first, using her own newly formed tentacle to kill Brad herself before he can even understand what's happening, then turns and destroys the creature as well. In a final act of despair, Rose slits her own throat right in front of Burroughs, seemingly ending everything. But the story doesn't end there. The closing scene reveals Burroughs calmly preparing a meal made of blood, meant for Rose herself, confirming that she didn't actually die at all. Her body has instead been transformed into something that simply cannot die. And Burroughs finally has the immortal result his research was always chasing.